Hey, wrestling fans. Welcome to One Winged Wrestling, where we help you navigate the complex world of pro wrestling, bringing you the best matches, world class wrestlers, and news you can count on. At One Winged Wrestling, we bring elite wrestling to you. I am Bill Cutbush, and Krishna Denai has been once again locked in a closet with only crackers by his boss. This is really getting, worrisome. He keeps getting trapped in a closet. Of course, maybe it's because he knows I'm going to talk a little bit about Stardom and Showcase today, but overall, hey, we are adjusting to the time change. Daylight savings time has kicked in here in Toronto already. So this used to be, when we're recording, 1 hour before we are now, which means everyone's tired. It's good times. It's good times. But I had a solid day today, got into a bunch of wrestling, put together the news, all that kind of good stuff, because today is when we talk about the weekly stuff on One Winged Wrestling Weekly. I'm going to bring you some news. If Krishna shows up, we might have a dirt sheet. If Krishna shows up, we might have an AEW Roundup. I can talk to you a bit about AEW on the week, but he usually has more detail on that. But if he's not here yet when we get there, we'll just do the Japan report first, because hey, why not, right? And I got lots to talk to you about from Japan with the New Japan Cup going on, Stardom and Showcase, some more information about the great pay-per-view that happened on March 4th. If you haven't seen it yet, please check that out. And maybe a little bit of talk about the upcoming Cinderella tournament. We shall see. But for now, why don't we just kick things off getting into the news? Well, it has been reported by Dave Meltzer that AEW is now working on new contracts with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, working on long-term deals. It is thought that the Bucks wouldn't really want to go to WWE anyway due to their schedule. They like to be with their families. They want more days with them, and they get that with AEW. But Omega is a different story. He doesn't have kids. Apparently, there's a lot of matchups that he's never had going to WWE. So they're trying to wrap them up now. It makes sense. We're still a long way off from the end of the year. It is only March, right? We still have 9 more months after this before apparently those contracts will be up. So, it's good news that they're trying to wrap them up. I would love to see AEW sign these guys. They fundamental pieces of creating AEW. Fundamental. Without the Bucks and Omega, there would be no AEW today. I would really hate to see it if they left. It would be kind of weird. Like, it's called All Elite Wrestling. The whole reason Elite is in the name, let's not kid ourselves. It's because of the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. So, eh, kind of makes sense to keep them around. So I'm glad that Tony and gang are getting on top of that. I really hope they sign them. But again, it's a long way off. I have some other updates for you around the AEW scene. I have an update on Thunder Rosa. She is now currently working as a Spanish language announcer with AEW along with Alex Abrahantes. She apparently had a meeting to clear the air with the other women before this return. That's again per Dave Meltzer. There are no other details. There's no timeline for any return to the ring. She's back, but she's not wrestling and kind of like hidden on the Spanish side of things. So, I mean, I haven't seen her nor heard her on any of the programs I've watched. So, very interesting. Um, don't really know what to make of it. I really hope she comes back soon. I think she would add some spark and flair to the women's division right now. I think it would be very interesting to see her have to align with Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter against Saraya and Tony Storm and Ruby Soho. But hey, we'll see what happens, right? Like, I think that would be very interesting to see Britt Baker have to align with Thunder Rosa. But I guess it all depends on whether or not she can get back in the ring anytime soon. We have Stu Grayson, former member of the Dark Order who left AEW a while back now due to a contract dispute. He appeared backstage during one episode with the Dark Order, but on this Wednesday from Dynamite in Winnipeg, Stu Grayson is part of a trios match, tagging with Evil Uno, his former tag team partner in the Super Smash Brothers 2, and Hangman Adam Page taking on the Blackpool Combat Club. So it's really good to see Stu Grayson back. Now, he hasn't signed with AEW to the best of my knowledge. This may just be a one-off appearance, but the fact that he keeps coming back and doing the occasional one-off appearance to me is a really good sign. I just wish they could get past some of the parts of the contract and bring him back because he is such a good wrestler, and I really miss seeing him with the Dark Order. Now, that said, the Dark Order's got a lot of good wrestlers: Alex Reynolds, John Silver, Evil Uno, right? But had Stu Grayson in there, and they're even better. So, I'd really like to see the return of the Stu Grayson Evil Uno tag team in AEW. Maybe this will signal something in the future. Maybe it's just a one-off because they just happen to be in Winnipeg. And as far as I'm aware, Stu Grayson's Canadian. So yeah. Anyway, he will be making an appearance on Dynamite, and I'm very much looking forward to it. One final update around AEW is concerning the Fight Forever video game. There is still no release date. And to make things even more muddied and fun, GCW filed to oppose the trademark AEW Fight Forever on March the 1st. GCW is currently engaged in settlement discussions with AEW, according to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. GCW held a show called Fight Forever in January 2021. They then filed for a trademark for the term Fight Forever months after the AEW filed for theirs. I don't know why they're doing this. I don't know why they need to trademark Fight Forever as a GCW show when they see a video game coming out. I mean, now they also knew that AEW filed for the patent, or at least you would assume they would have checked to see if they'd filed the patent. I don't know. I'm no business expert. I don't know how these things work. Okay, I just don't. For me, though, filing months after when you know someone else has already filed for it, it's kind of like I want to name my business X, but someone else took the name 4 months ago, but I'm just going to fight for the name anyway. It doesn't make much sense to me, right? Like I just wouldn't do that. I just go and create a different name. Like, okay, you didn't file for your trademark fast enough. Oh well. I mean, Fight Forever is a very common wrestling term, and AEW just wants to trademark the name on their video game. It's also common, I guess, to trademark pay-per-view names, but in this case, just pick another one. I mean, call it GCW This Is Awesome. Who knows? I don't know. Like, pick something. It's no different than Fight for Both These Guys. Like just pick another chant, name it after that. Whatever. I don't understand why they have to get into. And GCW has tweeted and said they want none of Tony Khan's money. Well, if they don't want any money, what is this about exactly? I'm going to assume it's about one thing and one thing only: publicity. It's got GCW's name in the spotlight. It has people knowing that they put on an event called Fight Forever in January 2021. It's an interesting tactic, controversy breeds cash, as Eric Bischoff used to say. So probably still does say. So yeah, it's probably why GCW is doing this, right? Draws eyes to the product, and Lord knows independents need eyes on their products, right? So not the way I'd do it personally, but hey, whatever works. Now we're gonna have to skip the Guess These Stars stuff for now because Krishna's not here to play Guess These Stars, nor is he here right now for Denai's Dirt Sheet or the AEW Roundup because apparently the closet is really tight and really locked. So we're just gonna move ahead to New Japan. We'll return to Guess These Stars, Denai's Dirt Sheet, and the AEW Roundup after that. So, New Japan Cup. I'll give you an update on that. Round 1 is over. So, if you remember last time, we'd been partway through round 1 as of last week, but this week, round 1's over. Kyle Fletcher beat Yoshihashi and moved on to face Hiroki Goto. Aaron Hanare beat Shingo Takagi and moved on to face Tamatonga. Evil beat Ren Narita, unfortunately, moving on to face Jeff Cobb. And Mark Davis beat Toru Yano, moving on to face Will Ospreay in an all-United Empire match. So we had Kyle Fletcher, Mark Davis, and Will Ospreay all in the tournament. Round 2, though, happened over the weekend, more or less. Last few days, anyway. Most of round 2, I should say. Sanada defeated Kenta, and Naito defeated Chase Owens. So Sanada will now face Naito in the quarterfinals on March the 17th. Kyle Fletcher, unfortunately, lost to Hiroki Goto, so Goto moves on to the quarterfinals as well, and he will be facing Tama Tonga, who beat Aaron Henare, eliminating another United Empire member. So that's two of the United Empire people gone. Zack Sabre Jr. will be facing Shota Umino on March the 15th as a round two match in just a couple days. That's Wednesday. And David Finlay will be facing Great-O-Khan also on March 15th, one of the last members of United Empire in the tournament too. The winner of that match going on, of course, to face either Zack Sabre Jr. or Shota Umino. I will be naturally reporting on those results next week because I'm very much looking forward to the Zack Sabre Jr. Shota Umino match. That sounds like it could be absolutely great. In the two matches that just came out today on New Japan World, happened yesterday, I believe, Evil beat Jeff Cobb basically by cheating to death. Cobb had a solid big man showing. It was like for him, good showing that way, right? But he was no match for the ref bumps, being ganged up on by the House of Torture. Poor Great-O-Khan, Cobb's partner, was on commentary. They handcuffed him to the rail, sitting at the desk. This match was not ever going to come close to being a match of the year candidate. Evil moves on to face the winner of Mark Davis and Will Ospreay in the quarterfinals. The one note the announcers made was that this was, in general, an attack on the United Empire. So it looks like we're setting up that epic clash between the United Empire, the greatest stable in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and House of Torture, one of the all-time worst stables in all of professional wrestling. In fact, I would rather see 3MB. But anyway.
Don't diss 3MB. 3MB is awesome, all right? Like, I don't know why you keep insulting 3MB.
Oh, Jesus. Look who shows up. You got out of the closet, dude.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out, guys. I'm out. Listen. People need to stop insulting 3MB. 3MB were ahead of their time, all right? Your little crew that you got there now, Bill, that's doing the same dancing as 3MB.
The same dancing.
All right? They owe them. They owe them the Trailblazer Awards here, right? So
yeah, 3MB Trailblazers for Cosmic Angels, guys. That's right. You heard it here from Krishna Denai's mouth. 3MB out dancing Cosmic Angels. Listen, I'm the first one to make fun of the Cosmic Angels dance because I think it's kind of funny, and I love it when Oedo Tai interrupts it. But let's face it, they are better dancers than Heath Slater,
Jinder Mahal, and what's his face?
The third dude, Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre.
Yes,
I know.
exactly.
I know. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, man. But to return to what we will return to your AEW roundup, and I also have Guess the Stars to play with you in a moment. But for now, let's finish the New Japan Cup, shall we?
Cool.
Yes, because the match I was just about to start when you popped in conveniently, this is why you shut up. You went, I know he's going to talk about this. I know it. Mark Davis versus Will Ospreay.
Oh,
an all United Empire throwdown that happened yesterday in round 2 of the New Japan Cup, coming to us from Ihime, I think. Say it like I mean it. Ihime. So Will Ospreay, the announcers note, in 3 tournaments has either won or been beaten by the guy that wins. So he either wins the New Japan Cup or he gets beaten by the guy that wins the New Japan Cup. So they started off with a handshake, of course, being teammates. Davis was clearly the stronger of the two. He overpowered Ospreay early, repeatedly, just headlock takedowns, shoulder tackles, chops. He caught Ospreay in Ospreay tried a hurricane run. He just catches him, pancakes him, then lariats him out of the ring. Tries to throw him into the guardrail, but Ospreay literally leapt over the guardrail, where he then attempts a springboard off the rail, but Davis gets to him, gorilla presses him face first onto the guardrail, then puts him on the apron and launches multiple knees into his head. He wrapped Ospreay at this point. The announcers, one of the Chase Owens was on commentary, and he's like, why is he trying to hurt his own his own teammate? It looks like he's trying to injure him. But anyway, he wrapped up Ospreay in the mat and on the floor, hit a senton on him, but Ospreay beat the count in the ring. He was selling his shoulder, and this was a little concerning. He was selling one shoulder, but it seemed like the other one was injured, and the announcers discussed a possible dislocation. Davis continued the assault in the ring, hitting a body slam and another senton, working over the other shoulder, not the one he actually was worried about. Ospreay then was like yanking that hurt shoulder on the ropes during the match. So it looked like he did something to his shoulder.
Okay.
Davis chops the heck out of Ospreay, though. Number of forearm rubs to the face. But then, of course, we're talking about Will Ospreay, right? You know what happens? He comes back. And when he comes back, he explodes. Back-to-back handspring enziguris, can't capitalize. Both are down, though. They get up. Ospreay hits one of my favorite move names ever, the Pip Pip Cheerio. That's his springboard forearm, like
Of
AJ
course.
Styles, whatever the hell, like
Yeah.
phenomenal forearm.
Phenomenal
Yeah,
forearm.
it's the Pip Pip Cheerio. Remember that, please, because that's a much cooler name for it ever than phenomenal
Phenomenal forearm? Come
forearm.
on.
No way,
Pip
man.
pip
Pip Pip
cheerio.
Cheerio. He tries to get Davis up for a pile driver or a power bomb or something, but Davis back body drops him out of it. Ospreay responded by kicking Davis's leg out. Now the story changes a bit because now Ospreay's targeting Davis's leg. Okay, he hits a dragon screw, locks on figure fours more than once, ties his leg up in the rope, does a running drop kick to it, knee breaker, all the good stuff. But then Ospreay attempts a springboard attack. Davis catches him on the top rope, shoves him down, getting wishboned on the top rope, where Davis hits a huge tornado forearm, superplexes Ospreay off the top rope. I mean, this match was just nuts. I mean, it was Davis power versus Ospreay being Will Ospreay, right? I mean, Davis takes Ospreay down. He leaps up yelling and kicks the hell out of Davis's leg. He hits him with 3 lariats, but he won't go down. Thrust kick, he won't go down. And a lariat finally takes Davis down. Delivers a second rope forearm to the back of his head, goes for the hidden blade, but then Davis catches Ospreay coming out of the hidden blade with a huge inside out lariat. I mean, Ospreay reversed a torture rack into a crucifix bomb that was just crazy. His Oz cutter was insane as usual. I mean, the whole thing was crazy. And then Davis, he picks it up a notch too, right? Because he starts doing stuff like picking Ospreay up and throwing him into a pile driver position, like off the mat, and then just chucked him into the air and catches him into a pile driver. At one point, he pulled him up onto his shoulders with one arm. It was the kind of thing you would expect to see Cesaro doing. It was crazy.
So not the things that Wardlow can do.
No, not the things Wardlow can do. No, he is much stronger than Wardlow. Anyway,
got it.
The end finally came. Davis hits a running seated forearm for 2, lifts up Ospreay into a torture rack, but Ospreay fights out. He hits a storm driver, not to be confused with his finisher, for 2. Davis climbs to his knees, shaken, and he starts moving towards Ospreay on his knees, and Ospreay just nails him with a hidden blade and puts him down for 3. So yeah, the match was insane. Davis's strength was incredible. I was so impressed with him in this match. I mean, hard hitting, good pacing. It picked up exactly where it needed to. Ospreay was Will Ospreay. I'd give this match 4.5 stars. Great-O-Khan remained handcuffed to the rail for the entire match. Ospreay got a mic afterwards and spoke Japanese to the crowd. Please note that. He spoke Japanese to the crowd. He seemed to put over Mark Davis. I couldn't really understand, of course, and no one was translating. But then he switched to English, just mentioning how strong United Empire is, and he's going to win the cup, and he's going to take down Evil. Because now, of course, his next match is against Evil in the House of Torture. Because you missed the part. Did you miss the part where I was talking about Evil in the House of Torture beating Jeff Cobb?
Yep. And how you said that there's an epic showdown now between
the House of Torture there's an epic showdown
versus United Empire.
Yep. And after the match, he had a press conference backstage where he talked about how much he owes Kyle and Mark in real life. Like they moved in with him in August 2021. And Ospreay said he was going through a really hard time. He was going stir crazy. And he said it's a proper brotherhood they have. They saved him. They really got him out of that. And he's going to beat Evil and get his shoulder checked out. So good times. But yeah, this match, great. Strongly recommended. I kind of look forward to their match against Evil. But the one I'm really looking forward to now in the next round of the tournament, like I was saying, is Zack Sabre Jr. taking on Shota Umino. We'll see where that goes.
Okay.
So why don't we back up a little? I can turn to Stardom later. Let's rewind ourselves back to the start. And I got a game of Guess the Stars for you there, Krishna.
All right. Okay.
Are you ready? So I talked about the news. I ran through, ye old AEW contract talks with Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
Krishna rolls his eyes.
It's like nothing.
I know, right? They are currently attempting to sign. I know it's a slow news week, man.
It is.
And Thunder Rosa now on Spanish commentary for AEW.
Yeah, I did hear about that. Interesting. I guess her injury really is like bad, right? She's not ready to come back yet, and
Yeah, it
and
looks like.
and also, I mean, there were rumors, and there were only rumors again that she wasn't the best person to work with backstage, like with Brit and Company, and as you know, Brit and Company are like the pillars of AEW. So there, I think things have been resolved. That's all I'm say. Things have been resolved, so that's why she's back now, at least doing commentary, doing something at the AEW, right?
Yeah.
Whereas just disappearing for such a long period of time. Obviously she was hurt, but she's been on the mend, so good for her. I'm glad to see her back. She's a great wrestler. That you know what that can build that women's division, who apparently is like 6 people, but can build that women's division. Into something more. So yeah, no, that's good. That's good. I did hear about that.
And then our man Stu Grayson showing up on Dynamite this Wednesday.
Well, I mean, in Canada, right?
Yes,
obviously. And on being the elite, Hangman kind of referenced it on a call he had, which he was talking to a banana Hangman. He's so ridiculous. He's talking to Uno, but Uno's like, anyways, and he kind of joked. He's like, I hunged John Moxley. He's like, hunged? He's like, it's so funny. But then he's like, I like Stu. Like, I miss Stu. Like it's like he's just saying what everyone else was kind of saying. Like we miss Stu. Like I know everyone shouldn't get their hopes up. Like if you read Stu Grayson's like the stuff he had said, he said he had given up all his like dark and elevation matches just to be on TV. Right. So as you know, the Dark Order do get a lot of time on Dark and Elevation still. Yes. So to him, it's just not worth it, right? So I'm glad that he's gonna be on TV. But that's all I'm gonna say. I don't think he's coming back anytime soon.
No, I don't think so either, to be quite honest. I mean, we can remain hopeful, but
we do I want Stu back, but no.
Okay. So Meltzer released his star ratings for both the AEW pay-per-view and the Stardom pay-per-view. So you listened to my review of Stardom's Triangle Derby 1. You heard all the comments I made about Hazuki taking on Saya Kamitani. Second best match of the year next to Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. Okay, cool. Let's see what Meltzer thought. So the three best matches on the show. Elite versus House of Black. How many stars do you think he gave that?
So Meltzer, he likes these type of matches, but then I've noticed like he does like his general like the flips and stuff like that. He likes it to a certain extent, and maybe he did kind of take away some points because the build was just crap. But I'm gonna say he gave this match 4.5 stars out of 5.
You're close. 4 3/4.
Okay. Yep. I was gonna say 4.25, but I'm like, whatever.
There you go. 4 and 4.75. Okay. Now Mox versus Hangman in the Texas Death Match.
I think he liked this more. I think he liked this more because of the builds, and I think he liked this more because of the match that they got. These guys are just nuts. So I'm gonna say I said 4.5. I'm gonna say 4.75 for this one.
Okay, but he gave the other one 4.75.
No. But I had originally said like.
Oh, okay.
Right. So I'm just basing it on that. On why. Oh,
okay. Gotcha. No, he gave this one 5 stars.
Oh, okay.
Yep, he gave the Texas Death Match 5 stars.
See, I said he would liked it more.
All right, which takes us to the Iron Man match. MJF taking on Bryan Danielson. What do you think he gave that?
I'm gonna say, because it's Meltzer, I'm gonna say he gave it. Would he have given this one 5 stars as well? You know what? I'm gonna go with 5. I'm gonna go with he gave it 5 stars.
Okay. He called this possibly the greatest Iron Man match in history. He gushed and gushed and gushed about this match. Yeah, I mean, he loved this match. Okay, loved this. 5 3/4 stars for that
5 3/4
match.
So they called the Kenny versus Pac match an 30-minute Iron Man match. That was better than that 100%. One. They also did the Kenny and Danielson match, which was technically an Iron Man match that went to the limit. That was better than
that was better than this.
This was the great. Okay, and what was his reasoning behind it? If
Oh,
you know
the emotion, the moves, the build, it was just all
the
executed
moves,
perfectly.
the
Well, you know,
moves.
yeah. Oh, I'd have to go back and listen. Don't quote me as
Yeah.
quoting him here, okay? I may
Okay.
have some things off,
All right.
but
Because I was like, okay, I get it from a somewhat builds like
mhm,
standpoint. Um, and I know Meltzer is obviously loves Danielson, which is understandable because he's amazing, and
right.
he really does love MJF as well. But he
Yep.
thinks MJF is amazing in the ring, which I think he's good, right? But and
He can be good.
he can be right. I didn't think he did anything over and above like in that match. Like what he did with
Hmm.
Takeshita, I thought was fantastic, right?
Hmm.
But in terms of Danielson, I thought the match was good, but I would never rate it as like a top like Iron Man match of
I
all
know. It's like
time.
sometimes I think you and I live on a different planet. Like if you go to the stats, the people
Yeah.
who reported in, 288 of the people who wrote in to the Observer to rate AEW
Mhm.
Revolution gave it best match. Adam Page and John Moxley had 75 by way of comparison, and House of Black and the Elite 39
Wow.
versus 288 for that Iron Man match.
Maybe there are people out there, and it's just fine. I don't know. Everyone's entitled to their an opinion who just like older style, slower wrestling, right? You know, I'm gonna say it, like the Jim Cornette
Mm,
type, right? Who claims that the Elite and House of Black shit got beaten up because they went in and did all that crazy stuff.
mm,
I love those matches. Great. Everyone,
yep,
there's something for everyone, right?
yep.
Like Dave Meltzer, I agree with him on some things, and sometimes I'm kind of like, all right, sure, maybe. But you got to remember, Dave Meltzer's been watching wrestling a lot longer than we have, right? So
Yep.
he's used to like all the old school wrestling, which he grew up on, which
Yeah.
which is understandable. So that kind of that's who he is today.
Hmm.
Um, I yeah no like from what I've been hearing so in Fightful stuff like that, like Will Washington for example, like
Hmm.
younger guy obviously, he
Hmm.
even said like he in his press conference he said, I think the Elite and House of Black stole the show. That was my favorite match of the night.
Hmm.
Same, right?
Yep.
I think the same thing.
Yeah.
So
I
maybe
loved the Texas Death Match too
yeah,
because I
same,
love the
same.
story elements and stuff. But the last match, I was like,
It was
yeah, it was good.
good by the numbers almost, if you think about it,
Yeah,
right?
kind of. I mean, here's what Meltzer said. Right now,
Mhm.
I'm quoting from the
Okay.
newsletter. So, he said MJF retained the title in an Iron Man match. As far as MJF's ability to have a classic championship match when having to go 60, he passed that test with flying colors. While nobody can shortchange the performance of Danielson, who likely had the best match of his own amazing career, filled with match of the year contenders. MJF hung with him at the faster pace than all but a few 60-minute matches in history and likely more legitimately brutal than any of them. The only comparable matches that long would be the two Omega Okada matches from Osaka.
Hmm.
You
He
also have
compared
to
this
throw in a
to
level of
Omega.
heat. Yeah, the heat and drama blew away all but a few.
All right. Again, it's everyone's entitled to their opinion. I just think this
Yep.
is wrong. I think
Yeah,
this is
I also
absolutely
think it's
wrong.
wrong. I mean,
Right?
I agree with Meltzer on a lot of
Mhm.
stuff. I think that he's got a pretty good outlook on wrestling and stuff, but this, not a chance. But again, you and I seem to be in the minority, right? I mean,
Like
everyone's talking
calling it
about
a
how
classic.
amazing that Iron Man match was, and I look at it and I go, it was okay. It
See,
was a match.
whenever I hear people call matches classics, I always think about it. I'm like, when I hear classic, I think what you're referring to this is like it's older, like one of the older type matches, right? Hey,
Hmm.
you know what? The Elite and like Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega, they've changed wrestling for me. That's why I watch wrestling now
Hmm.
because of these guys, right? So maybe it is. Maybe we've changed into like we've evolved, I should say,
Hmm.
to different type of wrestling that we like, and that's why we're not seeing it, right? That's why we're not seeing sometimes when people are like, "This person's amazing," we're like, I don't see it because they're
Yeah.
not doing elite
Yep.
things, right?
Right. Yep. And even I wrote in it, like, look, I think I have more of a liking for some like stronger,
Mhm,
tougher, more strong style stuff than you might occasionally do. I like good map based
mhm,
submission wrestling sometimes, right? Like I can really get into a match like that if it's executed well, but it still has to be pretty fast. The guys have to be athletic. It's got to be crisp. It's got to look like $1 million on the mat, that kind of stuff, right? Like that's what I love. But you give me something where people are also flying across the ring at 100 miles an
Yeah,
hour and doing all kinds
exactly.
of crazy stuff. Like, believe me, I'm watching Ospreay and Mark Davis today, right? And Davis just was playing a genius match, right? He had
Mhm.
slowed the pace right down. He was beating Ospreay to a pulp. But then out of nowhere, Ospreay just
Comes back.
exploded. And I'm like, holy crap. Like I didn't even see it coming. It was just like, oh
Yeah.
my God. And like when Ospreay does stuff like fly over the rail, like he
Mhm.
dodges getting chucked into the guardrail by literally
Jumping
jumping
over.
over it. Right. Like he's so good. Like Ospreay is just on another level from
Mhm.
everyone
Mhm.
else, right? And but you're right. It's that kind of wrestling. Like you look at the Jay Lethals of the world, Adam
Mhm.
Cole's,
Mhm.
the Briscoe brothers, right? All of these guys who changed wrestling
Wrestling,
fundamentally.
exactly.
But Meltzer got into that the other day
Mhm.
with oh no, it was Ospreay and Renee Paquette. They were talking about
Mhm.
the debate on the
Mhm.
podcast when Ospreay was talking about how each generation comes along and like
Yeah.
they
Yep.
think that they change it and
Theirs
people
is
who
the
like that
best. Yeah.
generation look back on the other stuff and go,
Yeah.
eh.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why we're saying, look, again, we're not saying anyone's wrong. We're just
No.
saying there's something for everybody. It's just I don't understand because then I look at matches like we've had on just TV, for
Hmm.
example, like the Wheeler Yuta and Orange Cassidy match. That match got built in a week and it was fantastic, right?
Yes. Hmm.
I had so much fun with that match.
Yep.
Yeah, when you put something for 60 minutes, there are gonna be slow points. You know that,
Hmm.
especially
Yep.
with the people that you have in that ring,
Yes.
right? So like I got from the 60-minute match what I expected to get,
Yep.
right? It was good. Not the best thing I've ever seen. It
Hmm.
told a story.
Yep.
It was slow at points, but I totally understood it. I accepted
Hmm.
it. I didn't expect like a elite match.
No.
But for people like that star rating, 5.25, right? You said
5.75,
7.5,
almost
almost six.
6.
Almost 6 stars. Oh my god.
Hmm.
So I don't see I just don't see it. I just don't see that at all.
No.
If I
And to
if it
come
got
like,
if he said 4.75, I'd be like, okay, you can give it that, but
yeah, I mean, I would put it
5.75,
in the mid
yeah,
fours.
yeah, 5.75.
Hmm.
Oh my goodness. You're comparing that with the Omega and Osprey match that happened in January?
Hmm.
No way. No way.
Well, he didn't compare it to that one. What
But
he
what did he give
compared it
that
to was
match?
Omega and Okada, not Omega and
Okada. Yeah.
Okada, their
Yes, that's right.
60-minute match.
Oh, okay. So
They
he compared
went
it to an actual
60,
Iron Man match.
right?
Yeah, you're right. You're
And
right.
I've seen that match,
Hmm.
and it's a lot better than this one.
I know. Yes.
But I mean, we're talking Kenny Omega, so
Well, that's what I was gonna say. We're talking Kenny Omega, so really
And I mean, you and I may be
unfair.
biased then because if we're talking Kenny Omega, it's like, okay, that's probably going to like, look,
Yeah.
we're willing to say if his match isn't the best on the show, but let's face it, the House of Black versus the Elite
It was
was the match of the
amazing.
night.
It was amazing.
Hmm. It was the only match in the night where I was legitimately going, holy crap,
Holy
holy
crap.
crap,
Yeah.
holy
Agreed.
crap. Right.
Agreed.
So,
Yeah. I don't
okay,
know.
so that's those stars. Now, what do you think the worst match he called on the show was?
It would be would he no. Okay, so from the Revolution show,
Hmm.
I think the worst match he would have called. Do you think the Wardlow match? Did he call Wardlow's match the worst match? Because it was
Yes.
kind of there you go. Because I'm like it was really quick and like
Yep. How many stars do you think he gave the worst match on the show?
I think he gave it like at least 3. I think he gave it 3 stars.
2.25.
Okay, so he has his
Pretty down
reasons.
on that match.
All right, he hated that match
Yep.
apparently. All right,
Yep. What about Starks and Jericho?
I say he's given that one Starks and Jericho 3.5, 3.5
4.
stars. Okay, all right,
Yep.
wow, he's
Jungle Boy and
higher than
Christian?
he had to have given that one at least 4.25.
4 again.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So, in other words, one, he really loved this show
Mm-hmm.
because it was legitimately a really good
It was
show.
good. Yeah.
Yes. But yeah. And Saya Kamatani versus Hazuki.
I'm gonna say because I know he talks highly of Stardom as well, right? I'm gonna say 5.5. Wait, 5.5. 5.5. I'm gonna go 5.5.
4.75.
4.75. Okay.
One, it tells me the man does not watch everything Stardom puts out. I suspect he only checks out the big shows
Yeah.
because he would have missed a lot of the lead into it and some of the
Yeah.
callbacks to previous matches, some of the callbacks to their showdowns, the way that the finish was done around, like the finish they had in the Stardom and Showcase match, which I didn't know going into this match. Now that I know that, this match is even better to me. Okay, because I watched Stardom and Showcase after I watched this show, and then I saw them in Stardom and Showcase go at it, and I'm like, holy crap. That was the finish that they almost did in this match, and she ended up reversing it and pulled it out. And I'm like, holy crap. Anyway, so yeah, I have to fundamentally disagree with Uncle Dave there on the Hazuki Saya Kamitani match too, because that was better than the Bryan Danielson and MJF match. It was better than the Texas Death match. It was better than the Elite versus House of Black. It was the second best match of the year. But that's my opinion. Take it for what it's worth.
Yeah, I just can't get over one of the best Iron Man matches ever. Like I'm just shocked on that one.
I know,
right?
I read that. I'm like, I get that you may have liked it, but I'm like, wow. Wow. Yeah.
Like,
okay.
Like even to what it was. Like, I mean, and again, I'm going based on memory, so I could be wrong here. But even the first Iron Man match, the one I've seen is Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels. I thought was better than this one. So I mean,
of course, I haven't seen that match in
years,
many years. So maybe it's got like the test. Like I thought the A-Team was awesome in the '80s, right? Like, you know. Sometimes things don't stand up when you watch them later.
Things change. You're right.
But yes. But that does bring us to your AEW Roundup.
Cool. So for my AEW Roundup, just to preface here, I didn't have a chance to watch Rampage, so apologies if there's anything cool on Rampage. I totally missed it. But I did get to check out Elevation and Dark. And some cool matches on the show. For Elevation, I actually selected the first match as Juice Robinson versus Titus Alexander. Titus Alexander, who I've never heard of in my life, right? Obviously. And he was pretty good in this match. Like, the thing is, obviously, Juice went in, cocky as usual, right? As Juice would. The crowd was really behind Alexander. It must have been his hometown or something. And like, he was actually like taking it to Juice. Like there were a couple of pinfalls. I'm like, are they gonna let this guy win? Like, what's happening right now, right? But at the end, like, Juice had to respect him, and he got angry, as Juice always gets angry, and ends up pinning him for the win. So that was actually pretty cool, that match. Another match on Elevation that was actually, it was good. I mean, it's good because it showcases. I like these when AEW showcases younger talent. Was Christopher Daniels, not the younger talent I'm talking about here, versus Cole Carter. I'm always like down on Cole Carter because I'm like, he's got such a terrible debut, and it's not his fault. It's just the way that it was. But it was a good match. Like, you could tell Daniels is still really good. Like, I'm actually pretty shocked. Daniels actually picking up the win here is what I was like, okay, Christopher Daniels picks up the win. But Cole Carter was there. Like, there were a couple of times where I thought Cole Carter looked a little shaky, but I was like, I appreciate the fact that it looked good. It was a good match. And then the main event of Uno versus Lee Moriarty.
Yep.
Cool match. Uno is a lot, like, he makes fun of his weight. I don't know if you've seen it on Twitter and stuff like that, but I guess people had made comments when he fought Mox, and he said he has a perfect body for like a dad or something like that. Right. But Uno's funny like that. But he was really good against Lee Moriarty, and Lee Moriarty, we know, he's really good, except kind of just thrown to the side now. I don't even know what he does anymore, to be honest with you.
Yeah, wasn't he in the Firm briefly?
He was in the Firm, I think. And he was part of, obviously Cody Rhodes' stable, and then that kind of just fell apart when Cody left. But he put on a good show. But obviously we have to remember, this was like, again, Uno coming back from all this. I don't know if this was recorded before his match with Moxley or what, but it was good because I'm like, why are they showing Uno on Dark by himself if he's not going towards another match? Then it must have been recorded before. Who knows, right? But it was a good match. It was Uno won. Uno just shows that he's actually pretty good in the ring, right?
Yes.
He's actually very good in the ring. So those are a couple matches to check out on Elevation. And on Dark, I don't know why this autocorrected to Ran Cage, but on Dark, Brian Cage actually went face one-on-one with a guy named Bad Dude Tito. I know I didn't choose this match because I like this guy's name because it's absolutely ridiculous. I chose this match because, first of all, Bad Dude Tito, he's all tatted up. But he actually moved. He moved very well. Obviously Cage is just phenomenal, and Cage has been doing recently this. He hasn't been doing his normal slam into whatever the pinning he does, but he does this submission move now where it looks almost like a version of the lion tamer. But what he does, he puts the person into almost like a Boston crab, folds their legs like that, and then steps on their head. And I'm like, and he does it in a way where he's in reverse, so he's kind of holding the person, like looking down at their head on the ground and stepping on it. That it's a really weird submission, but he's won twice now with it. So I'm like, okay, maybe this is his new move. Yeah,
it's good that they're introducing his new submission and getting it over on
Dark and Elevation.
So that when he uses it on Dynamite, we all know it's coming, and we're all like, we're all well educated.
Oh yeah, of course. Right? So that no one's gonna have to be like, oh my god, this is his new finisher. Or
wait, that ended the match.
That ended the match. Yeah. What happened? The Lion Tamer barely works, but I mean, like, yeah. And of course, just off of awesome names as well. Takeshita, not the awesome name I'm talking about, versus Jack Cartwheel. Oh, you heard that right. His last name, Cartwheel, and he actually cartwheels as they announce him. And I'm like, what am I watching here?
Do his hands touch the ground?
They do.
So he's no Natsupoi, is what you're saying?
No, but Jack Cartwheel is pretty awesome. Like, I'm talking, this guy can fly. Holy cow. Like,
if you're gonna have the name Cartwheel, you better be able to.
Like Takeshita is awesome. I love Takeshita in these type of matches where he's like going up against like these fast guys. But this Jack Cartwheel, he's really, really good. Like, obviously, we're not talking like he's no Ray Phoenix, right? But he's very, very good. Like, he can hang with like Air Fox and those guys, but he's not as good as they are. You could tell a little bit of polish needed, but I was just so impressed with this guy, this kid, right? Just the way he was, and what a stupid name, Jack Cartwheel. And last match,
he needs to tag with Action Andretti. I'm just saying.
I think the best tag team, Action Andretti and Jack
Cartwheel Action. That's what they can call their tag team.
They sound like a buddy cop like movie. Like they're the actual buddy cops in the movie. Action Andretti and Jack Cartwheel.
Oh my god, that's the best.
They should do that. AEW, listen to what we're saying. Make this happen.
Or they should be a pair on Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh my god, they'd be. Why does Jack Cartwheel sound like it's a name that Andy Samberg just made up, or Jake Peralta just made up?
I know, right?
Call me Jack Cartwheel. No, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like, and sorry guys, we're going on Brooklyn Nine-Nine right now. It sounds like Jake and Charles thinking about names, and Jake would be like, you can call me Action Andretti, and then Charles would be like, yeah, and I'll be Jack Cartwheel.
100% dead on.
Oh my goodness, too much fun with that. And the last match from Dark, which was pretty good, was Era Fox, amazing, where he faced off against Ryan Nemeth, who is I guess Ryan Nemeth is more of a comedy wrestler. I guess is that what we'll go with that, because he is part of the Wingman and Peter Avalon's crew. And he did his best. Like he was good. Like Ryan Nemeth is actually pretty good. But he's no AR Fox. AR Fox is just shot off into like these heights on AEW. I'm so glad they signed him. Just playing around at certain points. Obviously AR Fox gets the win, but it was a lively match. Like Ryan Nemeth is like posing and stuff like that. Fox like shakes him off the. It's just like a almost comedy match. But the problem is that you could tell. What I like about Peter Avalon and his crew is like they're ridiculous, but they're taking everything so seriously, right?
Yeah, which is the best kind of
Which is the best kind.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed this match, and yeah, it's just some matches for you guys to go and check out.
And I'm going to add a little
All
to your
right.
report
All
because
right.
I think there's two things that we need to highlight off of Rampage.
Mhm.
Sammy Guevara took on Action Andretti.
I know that's a match I missed. I know.
Yes, yeah, and yeah, I mean, including Andretti coming off the top rope with a dive through a table, among other things, and all kinds of good stuff. Yeah, match I think everyone should check out. Apparently, it's an extremely good match. I would recommend it.
Awesome.
Also of interest to the women's division thing is that Riho beat Nyla Rose,
Hmm.
and then Marina Shafir and Nyla Rose beat down Riho. And then after she was beaten down, out comes Tony Storm, Saraya, and Ruby Soho, and they paint Riho up.
Oh, so are we thinking Riho is going to be the other member of I guess the Brit crew,
That would be
helping her,
awesome.
right? Because where is Sheeta? Is she doing wrestling in Japan? Is that what's happening right now?
I'm not sure. I
Because
honestly
like I
don't
haven't
know.
seen her in such a long time, so I just made an
Hmm.
assumption maybe she's wrestling in Japan,
Hmm.
for something. And again, because you know, that Riho came back and Sheeta's gone for a bit now. Maybe who knows, vacation or whatever. But like,
Yeah.
I thought she was a big important part of this because she was down there with her kendo stick and everything like that, and
Yep.
she kind
And
of
then all of a
threw it
sudden she just
in
got dropped like a hot
and she got
potato out
dropped.
of this
Yeah,
whole
I
plot.
I don't understand that. Like, she didn't make any saves. There's clearly three people on one side now and just two on the other side because
Yep.
of course Rebel's gone. Um, so yeah, this doesn't make any. It doesn't make any sense, and I don't know. I don't know what
Yeah.
they're doing right now.
I don't either. But hey, Riho, she's awesome.
Yeah, Rio's awesome.
So yes, exactly. So I will now bring us back to Japan because earlier I only talked about the New Japan Cup, but I need to talk about Stardom, right? Because
Stardom.
we did have Stardom in Showcase that was finally released on Stardom World. But before we get to that, I'm just going to give you some extra notes on Julia versus Yukihi. Meltzer reported that the reason for the finish in that match, if you recall, it ended in a double countout.
Mm-hmm.
The reason for that finish was largely political because Julia and Yukihi legitimately hate each other in real
Oh
life.
wow.
They were professional enough to put on this match together, and that's also probably why they absolutely walloped each other during the match. I mean, it was a hate match, period. They can't stand each other for real. But they did the match as a hard fight. The only way they could get the match done was to book this non-finish to the match,
Mm,
essentially. So, but hey, it's one of the only times I've seen a double count out where I went, oh, that's totally fine.
mm.
But anyway, the Cinderella tournament brackets, just quick note, I have been working on my brackets and I have a very bad feeling about something. See, I picked Hazuki to win this tournament, but then they announced the match listing for this,
Okay.
right? And I'm still going with Hazuki because I think she's being pushed to the moon. But the way it's laid out, she's going to need, based on my current picks, to go through Julia, Utami Hiyashishita,
Mm-hmm.
and Shuri to get to the finals.
Oh wow.
So I could be wrong. Um, there's a chance there that Hazuki, unless of course someone eliminates, Suri or Utami before they get to fight Hazuki. But I'll do a more in-depth preview next week for the tournament. Okay, but now I've got the matches for you. I promised you a Stardom in Showcase choice. Now, it wasn't quite as ridiculous as last time. I'm going to tell you some of the stuff I didn't include first, okay?
Okay.
We got the number one muscle person in wrestling match between Saya Ida and, oh my God, I'm forgetting her name. Chan Yoto. And it was basically an arm wrestling match, followed by a wrestling match, followed by a pose down. And the wrong person won the pose down. Saida should have won it, but for some reason they gave it to the other person. They had this 4-way match where for some reason they stuffed poor Razi Ogawa into an inflatable house. Yeah, it was bizarre, and then they just had a match. First
All
they
right.
stuffed him in the house, then they had a match. But yeah, it was interesting. And of course they had the Grim Reapers taking on the Stardom Machines because now they've added super strong big Stardom Machine to giant and just super strong Stardom Machine. So the three of them fought against the Grim Reapers and unfortunately lost to the
Lost.
Grim
All
Reapers. We
right.
don't know who these Grim Reapers are yet.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Of course, they only ever appear in Stardom and Showcase because this is where you get to do all the ridiculous, silly stuff. So the matches you have to choose from are in the Himika Retirement Series, Donna Del Mundo taking on Prominence hardcore specialists in a hardcore match.
Okay.
Or you get to choose the three-way elimination tag match where the sole survivor wins a gift of premium Kobe beef. If only one team member survives with if only one team survives with multiple members, they have to fight until there's only one left.
Oh wow. Okay.
Those are your choices.
I'm gonna choose the hardcore match.
Good choice. Okay. Now, I would like to point out in hardcore matches, you have pointed out in AEW, the women always give it that little extra,
Yep.
right? I would like to say that these women also gave it a little extra. There's a little bit of that Stardom and Showcase ridiculousness, but at the same time, we got an actual hardcore match here, Sans Blood.
Mm.
So they all show up with weapons of various kinds. Micah comes out with like her normal entrance. She has like one of those Japanese fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
She comes out with a gigantic fan. Julia comes out with a katana and a copy of the magazine she's on the cover of. If you think that magazine's not a weapon, just wait. Himika comes out with a box of something. Chains? Tacks? Couldn't really tell from the stage, but we find out later. Riza Sarah comes out with kendo sticks, of course. Suzu comes out with a chair, like a folding chair, but the seat on the chair has sticking straight up out of it a number of forks.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like plastic forks, different forks, all kinds of things sticking out. Don't these are blood match specialists, right? So she comes out with that. It looks like something John Moxley would have invented. I didn't see what Kurumi had, but there were plenty of chairs stacked on the apron too. It starts off with a Himika and Riza. They both grab chairs and they just go at it at each other, like smashing the chairs, like they're dueling with them. All right. And this was a hardcore match, by the way. It started off with tag rules, like you would tag in and out to your partners still.
Okay.
But that broke down about halfway through the match. So anyway, Riza gets some kendo sticks and they sword fight, but Riza disarms Himika and nails her with the kendo stick. So Julia tosses her the katana, and when she unsheaths it, it's like a metal katana. I'm like, she actually, I know what time it's probably dull or whatever, right? But Riza just disarms that too, and smashes her again, hits her in the head with the kendo stick, and then delivers a backdrop onto chairs. Suzu tags in, puts Himika's head on a chair seat, then hammers the other side of the chair with another chair. It looked kind of painful. She then hit Hiragi slam. She then has Hiragi slam her onto a chair on top of Himika for two. So Suzu gets her own team member. She sets a chair on top of Himika, gets her own team member to body slam her onto that chair on top of Himika to injure Himika more than her. Sure, why not, right? Well, that's when it goes insane. Himika comes back with a fall away slam, and Donna Del Mundo goes and gets the boxes they brought to the ring. Inside the boxes, they shake them. I'm like, are these full of tacks? No, it wasn't tacks. It was these little hard edge, somewhat round. Think of Dungeons and Dragons dice or Lego pieces.
Oh
They
my god.
dumped them into the ring. The whole floor of the
no.
ring was covered in these things. Okay. So they dump that out. They fill the ring with them. All 6 members go for a triple suplex. Like they one at a time. They keep adding another person. May Sakurai, another member of Donna Del Mundo, comes in the ring with the magazine and starts whacking Prominence on the back with the magazine, distracting them. So they hit the triple suplex onto all of these pieces. All 6 women are like, ow. But you think they move these things out of the ring? No, they continue the match with this crap in the ring.
Oh my god.
Okay. So, I mean, at one, okay, so anyway, all six are holding their bags. Himika clotheslines Suzu down. Ouch. Julia tags in, hits Suzuki with a thrown chair and then a Falcon arrow for two on these things. I mean, even Julia, every time she executes a move, she's like, ow. Right. So, yeah, every time they hit the mat, they're in pain. She sets up a chair and tries to back suplex Suzu on it, but Riza switches the chair for the one with the forks.
Oh my God.
They then lift Julia up together and drop her butt first onto the chair. She literally had a fork sticking out of her butt.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, ow. Then Suzuki hits Julia with two running knees. They exchange German suplexes on the crystals. Though they were slowly starting to get cleared out of the ring at this point. Like the ref was starting to move some of them out, like every time they were away from them. So they were slowly getting these crystals cleared out of the ring. They tag out to Micah and Kurumi, who engage in a lariat battle. Kurumi wins until Micah nails her with the giant fan. She then hits a vertical suplex on the crystals and jumps up holding her back.
Oh no.
Rumi hits the boss man slam to Micah on the crystals and puts like this black mesh that has spikes sticking out of it on top of Micah, goes up to the top, but Micah like throws it off and runs up and gets her on the top and then like suplexes her onto the spikes. Prominence then triple teams Micah, sets up a pile of chairs. Kurumi hits a second rope double stomp to Micah on the chairs, and then delivers her finishing move, which is essentially a package tombstone onto the chairs for a 2 count. Donna Del Mondo finally returns to help Micah. They drop Kurumi, and Sakurai now runs in, and her and Julia deliver flying elbows to Kurumi, but still can't get the cover. At this point, the match completely breaks down. Tekla comes in too, and she's in. All like, what is that now? 8 of them are fighting in the ring. Mm-hmm. And the ref throws the match out. Make sure you understand this. Wait, this is a hardcore match. And the ref threw the match.
That's kind of
into
like
a no contest.
Yeah, that's like, kind of a WWE move there.
Yeah, like, it was kind of funny. I'm like, really? At least it was Stardom and Showcase, right? Like
disqualification in a no DQ match.
Yeah, it was like no contest. He just threw it out. Like this match is degenerated to the point it's uncontrolled. It's a hardcore match. Anyway, Himika thanked Prominence because that was one of her retirement things, was to face Riza Sarah in a hardcore match. So she has done that now, and her retirement series continues. So I will continue to report on her retirement series. She keeps saying after them that she can retire in peace.
The match sounds brutal. I don't know.
It was brutal, but it was also fun. It looked painful. It was kind of like hardcore, but a little bit silly hardcore. Like there was an element of fun to it, but my God, these women worked hard on that stuff. I mean, this was still a really solid hardcore match, and these women took like a lot of. I mean, God, getting suplex. Like, could you imagine? Like, Lego is one of the most painful things in the world to step on, right? Imagine getting suplexed onto a whole bunch of pointy Lego.
I wouldn't get up.
Yeah, no, sure. I'm very surprised there wasn't very much blood in this. The only thing of note about the 3-way elimination tag you didn't pick was the end of it, because Hazuki wins the match. And of course, now she wins Kobe beef, and they brought her out some to taste test. And then she says, they bring her the plate, and she says, I've been asked to eat this in the ring, but the ring is a sacred place. So, I'll take it backstage to eat. And she goes, well, I got the pin on Saya. So she starts doing a promo, and then she looks down on the ramp, and Utami's eating some beef. She's like, what are you doing? And so at ringside, then you see Mayu cutting up Hazuki's beef with a knife, and she's like feeding it to the other members of Stars. And they've eaten half the meat. Hazuki comes over, takes the plate, tells Mayu, this is how friendships start to end. And so they get back in the ring, though, because they have to close the show, right? Mayu comes to the ring, and Hazuki's like, got the beef. And Mayu takes the beef off the plate and stuffs the whole thing in her mouth. It was just funny and ridiculous. But anyway, it was good times. But anyway, that was Stardom in Showcase. We will be back next week with more serious Stardom and a preview of the Stardom Cinderella tournament, which is one of the premier tournaments in Stardom every year. Singles tournament, winner gets a shot at whatever title they choose.
Oh, okay.
And frequently cranks out some of the best matches in Stardom every year. So that will be starting towards the end of March, March 26th. And what they're going to be doing all of the first round matches in one day.
Oof. Okay.
That's a lot of matches. I suspect some of them will be very short.
Yeah.
But that's okay. But the lineup's insane. I can't wait. So yeah, I'll be back next week with more Stardom. And that brings us to our match of the week.
Match of the week. Interesting. Who did I? Oh yes, that's right. That's right. I'm like, who did I choose last week? I totally forgot. Okay, so my match of the week is still. Unfortunately I didn't see the Guevara and Andretti rematch, but I'm gonna still go back to Dynamite from previous week. Obviously, I didn't see all the wrestling you saw, and I'm gonna choose the match that I gave match of the night to, right? Which was pretty sure the Jay Lethal and an Orange Cassidy match. I'm pretty sure I gave it. Yeah. Yeah. I just, again, we had said from the beginning that if it was those two guys by themselves, it would have been great. And we're like, oh, but no, they're gonna have all this stupid like interference, and they didn't. They didn't. They had a decent match. The selling was what was really like sold that match for me. And yeah, I totally enjoyed that match. So that my match of the week for now, because this week is coming up and I already know what my match is going to be, but my match from last week is Orange Cassidy versus Jay Lethal.
It's not going to be next week. So next week it's Will Ospreay versus Evil, right?
Oh yeah, of course. It could be. It could definitely be that match.
Yep. House of Torture, man. We know they'll always be involved in matches of the week.
Maybe a match with one of the house names could end up being match of the week, right? But we'll see.
Yep. Well, you never know, right? But that's a solid pick. But I think anyone who's anyone knows what I'm picking for my match of the week. So yeah, and in case you've been asleep and haven't been listening to me at all, it is Hazuki taking on Saya Kamitani, the champion for the Wonder of Stardom Championship, a match that Hazuki lost, unfortunately, because man, I want that belt on her. But what a match. Oh my God. All right. I mean, just incredible leap out of my seat moments. Like, I can't believe that moments. It's just, it's what we were going through in the Ospreay Omega match, almost to that level. Oh, I'm going to say almost because the Omega Ospreay match was still better. Okay. But this is a close number two. I loved this match. The storytelling, the wrestling, everything was dead on. And my God, did these women give everything they had. So yeah, match of the week and second match of the year. So
wow.
So yeah. Sorry, Meltzer. It is not the Iron Man match. It is this match, 100%. So that brings us to our wrestler of the week, Krishna.
I thought about this for a while. Like, who would I give it out of that out of my match of the week? And I've given, and this is not me saying that I'm just giving it to this person because I've given it to the other person before. It's just that I don't really give this person a lot of credit, and he gets put into like really terrible situations because like it's just people he hangs out with. But no, I'm gonna give my wrestler of the week to Jay Lethal this week. Listen, go back to the match he had with why am I forgetting? Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe. Right. You go back to the match he did with Mark Briscoe when I had given Mark Briscoe the rest of the night. Just constant matches he's had with Orange Cassidy, which I've given Orange Cassidy the wrestler. But when he tried to hit his finishing move and his arm collapsed, and I thought he messed up. Not
really?
Thinking I thought, oh my God, did he just botch a move? Realizing that, oh my God, he's selling the arm. Yeah. Oh my God. That put it over for me. And I was like, you know what? This is such great selling. So yeah, I'm giving it to Jay Lethal this week.
Yeah, no, he's a phenomenal wrestler. Solid choice. But I unfortunately saw a different match this week. I have to give my wrestler of the week to one of my new top 3 in Stardom, Hazuki, who is just absolutely insanely phenomenal. Saya Kamitani was also insanely phenomenal in this match. Don't get me wrong, but Hazuki just brought it. She just
Yeah.
brought it, and she brings it in every match she's got. She brings it to Stardom and Showcase. Okay,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
this woman
Yeah.
brings it everywhere that she goes. She always wrestles full on, heart on her sleeve. You know, she calls herself the Wild Heart. It's 100% true.
100%.
So, yep, no, she is amazing in the ring. Ball of energy, hits like a truck. Wrestler of the week with the second best match of the year. So, and
Nice.
Saya Kamatani, a close 1B to the 1A. So, I mean, my
Ooh.
God, did she perform well in that match, too.
Okay.
So, I mean, she's one of the greatest wrestlers in Stardom as well. I just happen to like Hazuki's performance a little more. So,
Yeah. Fair enough.
but there you go. There you go. And that is the end of our show.
It is.
And this weekend, not weekend, this Wednesday from Winnipeg, the great one will be in attendance in his hometown. And apparently, the very first time he's wrestled in Winnipeg since he was like a little up and coming, like nobody wrestling gymnasiums.
I wonder if this is the first time he's wrestled in Winnipeg on TV,
Oh,
right?
100% it is.
Right. So
It is
that's
100% the
crazy.
first time he's wrestled. Yeah, I know. Kenny Omega has never wrestled in Winnipeg since he was like years and years and years ago.
I would really want to know the number on how many times has Kenny Omega wrestled in Canada on TV, right? Because remember, he was in Japan for a very, very long time, right?
Yeah,
So like I think this may be is this his first time wrestling on TV in Canada?
that's quite possible. It
Whew.
is very much quite
Oh
possible.
my
So yeah,
goodness.
but he'll be there with hometown favorite Chris Jericho and hometown favorite Don Callis.
Is Don Callis
Wait,
Canadian? No, he's
yeah,
not. Is he?
yeah, he's
Oh, yeah,
from
that's right. He's
Winnipeg,
from
dude.
Winnipeg. That's right.
He's from Winnipeg.
He uses he used to be, yes. You know, I it's funny because you know who's winning that match. If booked properly. So it's funny that you know those the two hometown boys are gonna end up losing, but I'm very curious
Well,
on how they do it, right? So
they're
this
going to
is
humiliate them in their hometown.
that's gonna be awesome though.
It
That's gonna be
is.
so we know this like humiliate them, but I mean, oh, I can't wait. I can't.
Yep.
I'm so excited for that match. Oh,
Yes, I know, you and me both, and we will be talking about it more in just a couple of days.
hmm.
But for now, as the great one always says, goodbye, everybody. Mwah, and good night. Bang.
Good night, everyone.